What up, sunshine? Jimmy Guapo here, broadcasting live and direct from the world famous Chez Magnifique Sophomore Sho. Coming to you live up here in the rooftop. I don't know if you can hear it, if it's audible, but the pitter patter up top there, it is not little feet. It's not Santa's reindeer, too early in the year for that. It's rain coming down, so if it's that audible, apologies, but we do try to make do here at the Sophomore Sho. This is episode 2, Foosball Tuesday, or I like to call it FOOZDAY because, it sounds better, I guess. Yeah, I just wanted to bring the news of today in the NFL to you guys. I'm sure you've already heard it. Give you my take on it, all that good stuff. Won't keep you guys very long. Also, well, not also, but please do me a favor and like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot, mainly because, that's how people get, love on YouTube. So help your boy out, man. Especially if you like what we're doing. If you don't like what I'm doing, hey, just thank you for watching this and keep it moving. But yeah, awkward intro aside, I wanted to get into the news of the day in the NFL. Pretty much dealing with the quarterbacks and the story that happened yesterday I wasn't able to get to, but we'll get to it now. Yeah, so the major blockbuster trade of today sends Russell Wilson, super duper quarterback from the Seattle super duper Seahawks, to the Denver Broncos in exchange for a whole bunch of stuff. We got quarterback Drew Lock, former, I don't think he was first round, but anyway, former pick for the Denver Broncos. Tight end Noah Fant, he was a first round pick. Defensive lineman Shelby Harris, two first round picks, one in this year's draft, the number 9 overall, and one in next year's draft, whatever that turns out to be. 2 second round picks this year, number 40 overall, and next year's 2023. 2022 fifth round pick to the Seahawks, and that's about it. Oh, and they threw in a refrigerator and a coffee maker. So all that's going to the Seahawks for Russell Wilson, and I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess you can gauge every NFL fan if you want to see their shock on Twitter or non-shock. To me, it doesn't really come as a surprise at all. We'll get to the real surprise in the second story, but this doesn't really strike me as odd or a surprise because Russell pretty much indicated that he wasn't happy with what was going on there, and he did it in a way that made it very easy for, I'm going to go ahead and say, or I'm going to go ahead and guess, the general manager, John Schneider. I think, I don't know if, they like or love each other, but they did butt heads on this. Like, all through the season and all through the summer, all through the postseason this year, Pete Carroll was telling everybody who'd asked him, hey, what about Russell Wilson? Is Russell going to stay? This, that, and the third. And he was shooting it down just like Aaron Rodgers was shooting down, his COVID status, I guess. Yeah, but no, he was just pretty much denying it. Like, no, we're not trading Russell. We're not trading Russell. And then all of a sudden, boom, here it is. Now, you could look at this a couple ways. Again, there's a lot of moving parts, and I'm sure Russell, he came out last year and he was like, look, I'm not happy with the protection. I'm not happy that you guys don't really give me the input that the other franchise quarterbacks get as far as the receivers and things of that nature. I mean, I don't know how much of that stuff goes on. That's just a little sidebar. But, these are his words, paraphrased by me. And he was not happy at Seattle, the way things were looking. Now, me personally, I think, hey, why don't you just listen to him? I mean, he's your quarterback, It's not like he's holding out for more money, If he didn't want to be in Seattle because he felt he was being disrespected by not getting paid correctly, that would be one thing. But to me, this was a salvageable situation. Excuse me, as I mutter those words. It was very salvageable, but I mean, and I know Russell's 33 years old, which I mean, Brady wanted to play till he's 50. He still may, for all we know. But you don't really see you rarely see franchise quarterbacks traded in what is considered their prime. I mean, Russ won a Super Bowl at an early age as far as being a quarterback. I believe he won it in the second year. coincidentally against the team that he's about to play for in the Denver Broncos, and that's the first time that that's ever happened, where a quarterback goes to a team that he's beaten in the Super Bowl and starts playing for him. But what I really don't understand is not being able to make this work. You know, like this. To be honest with you, this is a Chicago move. This is, the Bears, and oh my God, they would. Russell wouldn't even have to have said anything. He would have just, I don't know. For some reason, Chicago is allergic when it comes to talent. Like, they don't want the top, or even like talent that fits their system. It's just, hey, let's, sign this guy or whatever, and chips fall where they may, and wins the wine party like that. Like, that's more of a Bears move. Seattle, I thought their front office was a little bit more, I don't know. Like, I don't want to use the word smart because that is implying that I'm calling them dumb, and I'm not. But I thought that they were a little more shrewd than this. Me personally, I would have said, look, Russell, and maybe the GM for Seattle did this. I don't know. But I would have brought Russ in and said, hey, I heard you talking. Don't appreciate it. But you're an outstanding player, will most likely go to the Hall of Fame, and you've won a Super Bowl for us. What do you say we try to make this work? And it's not like Russell Wilson doesn't strike me as this. And look, one of his teammates could come out and probably shout me down and say, you don't know him, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Until that happens, I will keep this opinion. He doesn't really strike me as a prima donna. He strikes me as somebody who could lead his team, not just by his play, but it seems like his guys play for him, like they follow him. Like, that you look at that Super Bowl video with the Seahawks winning, and you see like Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch. They was like, pretty much like, yeah, you're our leader, that type of thing, and all of that. And yeah, you could say, well, they did win the Super Bowl, or they were on their way to winning the Super Bowl, Jimmy. How bad could it have been? But I don't know. You just don't see leaders and winners in the NFL, such as Russell Wilson, get traded like this. I mean, yeah, he kind of almost shot his well out of town in some respect, but he didn't do the Antonio Brown thing. What the hell? Antonio Bryan, what a name. he didn't do the Antonio Brown thing. He didn't do the, he didn't even do the Randy Moss thing, because Randy Moss, he'd shoot his way out of town too, So Russell, being who he is, I don't know. It was kind of surprising. It was surprising, not the part about getting beat up and not having protection, because quarterbacks, they don't want to get hit. Like, they don't want to get put on the ground, but it was just surprising how it all unfolded and how it all played out. You would think Seattle would say something like, hey, we got a upcoming draft, and they would look at it and not really see that. I mean, you don't know who's going to be good in 10 years. I mean, case in point, no one knew Russell Wilson was going to be this good as he is, and he's like the all-time, pretty much leads the Seahawks in any major passing category. But I'm surprised that Seattle didn't look at this draft and say, man, not much out there, not exactly, Peyton Manning just sitting out there. Yeah, I mean, you got Kenny Pickett, and you got homie from Cincinnati, but they could very well go for them or somebody else. But they're hitching their futures to a pretty much relative unknown. Me personally, I would have tried to get the defense corrected, because to me, that was the issue. Russell doesn't play defense, but he put up numbers. I mean, yeah, he got hurt, but again, it's the opposite of the Bears. Like, the better side of the ball, when you have the better side of the ball, just like on one side, like say you have a great defense and you have a horrible offense, the defensive players, they're most likely to get hurt or injured throughout the season, because they're going to be on the field the most, because the offense can't stay on the field. Just like that on offense, or just like that situation reverse. Offense is the better side of the ball. They're putting up a lot of points, but there are also, games where they have to come back. Games where maybe Russell felt like he had to like take off and start running and things of that nature, and or throw more than he should be throwing. Um, Case in point that one Super Bowl they played against the Patriots where he shouldn't have been throwing that last pass, but I digress. But yeah, I just don't think Seattle really thought this one through. Not now, they did get a lot of stuff back. This was kind of like it. It's not so much. I think they'll be reminded of the Dallas Cowboy trade when they traded Herschel Walker and they got all of these picks, and the picks ended up being like Emmitt Smith, Darren Woodson, really, really good players, Hall of Famers pretty much. But I don't know, like they're going to have to hit on everything for the most part now as far as draft picks are concerned. And the GM, he's really going to earn his paycheck in doing so. I mean, they kind of lucked into getting Russell Wilson, picking him in the draft because they had already signed Matt Mock the year that they drafted Russell Wilson before the draft happened. And and they signed Matt Mock, who was a backup quarterback to, I believe, Aaron Rodgers. They signed him to, pretty big money for a backup because they thought he was going to be good and they thought he was going to be the starter in Seattle. But, Russell Wilson came along and it was like, hey, let's check this guy out. And they checked him out and he ended up kicking ass. So they had to go ahead and put him in. So, and Matt Mock, we talked about Wally Pipp yesterday. Matt Mock got Wally Pipp by Russell Wilson because Russell was just the better option. Again, ends up winning a Super Bowl, goes to a second Super Bowl, doesn't win that one for just like the strangest reason ever. The strangest play call ever, I should say, in the strangest situation ever. I don't know how Seattle, if they're a viable contender, they won't be one for at least a couple of years. If you're a Seattle Seahawks fan and you think your guys were bad last year, get ready for some mediocrity at best for at least the next 2 or 3 seasons because they pretty much cut their head off to spite their face. Like, again, I don't know how John Schneider, the GM for the Seattle Seahawks, felt about Russell's comments, but apparently it wasn't all that great. And Pete Carroll, the whole year, he's been like, we're not trading Russell Wilson. So the only thing that you can think of is maybe John Schneider had it out for Russ after he said what he said. Who's to say? But I believe he did have it out for Russ after he said what he said. My opinion. I don't know if the missus Sierra, if she plays a role in all of this. If she does or if she doesn't, what does it matter? It's the guy's wife, so men listen to their wives. Smart men anyway. So you can't. It'd be different if Russell was single, but the man he has a wife and it's a partnership, both sides come together and, try to make everything happen. But no, I do think it's going to be awesome. Denver, appointment viewing this year. So Denver playing KC twice a year is going to be awesome. Don't really know how the game's going to play out. Probably will be shootouts, but they do have, Denver does have a good defense. Maybe Kansas City regresses a little bit. Maybe they start to lose, some of those pieces on defense. I heard something about Von Miller wanting to go back to Denver, which would be insane. Not insane in a bad way for him, but just like, wow, like look where the past 12 months have gotten us. LA rented him. LA got to rent Von Miller for a year, win a Super Bowl with him, and then he ended up going back to Denver. And I can see that happening because he was very, I don't want to say hurt, but he felt some kind of way having to leave Denver, like being traded out of Denver. So, but yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting, very exciting games coming up in the AFC West on the horizon. The AFC West has gotten a little bit tougher now because anytime a Super Bowl winning quarterback comes into the fray, things get a little bit harder. So Kansas City, I was about to say Oakland, good Lord, Las Vegas and the Chargers is man, they got some guns out there, definitely. So, second story I wanted to get into real quick is, and it kind of affects me a little bit, being a Chicago Bears fan and being a I don't know, a student of the NFC North. Used to be Central Division. But Aaron Rodgers, hearing from reports, the numbers are kind of, the numbers are the numbers. People will throw out any type of number. And whenever people see these numbers, they act like that he's getting all of this money up front, which he is not. NFL doesn't play that way. But it was rumored earlier today that Aaron Rodgers is going to stay with the Green Bay Packers, and he's going to stay to the tune of 4 years, $200 million, which, Jordan Love, I would get used to the bench for at least the next 4 seasons. So, have fun with that. Me personally, though, I'm glad, because if the Bears are going to be good and if they are going to have measuring sticks in their division, it is imperative that Aaron Rodgers is there for the Green Bay Packers for them to play against and act as a measuring stick too. Also, every Chicago Bears fan, former player, current player, not GM, front office person, whatever, we all remember when Aaron came out there and was like, yeah, I fucking own you, to that lady in the stands who flipped him off. And you know what? Deservedly so. First thing, somebody flips me off, I'm going to curse them out too. That's one thing. Didn't have to really, bring the whole Chicago Bears organization into it, but whatever. Second thing, he's right. He does own the Bears. I'm kind of used to it because I was used to the Bears losing to Brett Favre in Green Bay. So Aaron Rodgers is just carrying on tradition as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it is what it is. It's just one of those things. I'm not happy about it, and I would like to see the Bears do something about it. But I'm only one man. I don't own the Bears. And, super fan, George McCaskey, the GM, who owns the Bears, I don't even know if he cares about the Bears winning. I mean, the past 15 seasons don't really look like it. So, yeah, I just don't know where we stand with that. But I do like the fact that Justin Fields, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears, the team that I've rooted for all my life, I like the fact that he gets to go against the Jedi Master and Aaron Rodgers, and they get to measure themselves against Aaron and the Green Bay Packers, and they also get to get some revenge against Aaron Rodgers. Because trust me, it would have sucked for me and the Bears if we, I shouldn't say we, if the Bears ended up sweeping the Packers this year, which most likely would have happened without Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, because Devontae, he was going to bolt too. I mean, they're a tag team. They're like the Hart Foundation, Demolition, the Young Bucks, Steiner Brothers. Aaron and Devontae, they were a package deal. They weren't going to leave each other. They franchised Devontae Adams, so again, what I say, package deal. I don't know they might cut a whole bunch of people next year just so they can keep Devontae and keep Aaron Rodgers happy. But yeah, I would like to see the Bears exact a little revenge. Now, what this means for Aaron Rodgers is pretty interesting as well, because here's a man, in the last story we just spoke about, he also came out last year and said, well, not came out last year, but he also was put in a position to where it looked like he was leaving. But it wasn't self-made, because and only the Green Bay Packers could get away with this. Like, Green Bay has had 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks to my knowledge: Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. The Bears have had Sid Luckman and Jim McMahon. And Jim McMahon, God bless him, I don't think he's going to go into the Hall of Fame anytime soon, but he's our guy. Like, he's our guy. Like, he would never pay, he probably hasn't paid for, anything in about 40, 50 years living, or I'm sorry, it hadn't been that long, I'm sorry, in about 30 years in Chicago, because he's the only one, or he's the latest one to bring a Super Bowl to Chicago. And Chicago is full of people my age and older, and younger, obviously, but we remember, look, I was 2 years old when the Bears won the Super Bowl. I went back and watched it, obviously, and I know how much Jim McMahon means to the city of Chicago. I'm saying all of that because only Green Bay can get away with drafting a Hall of Fame quarterback's predecessor pissing off said Hall of Fame quarterback and keeping the Hall of Fame quarterback for 4 more years. Only Green Bay gets away with this. Like, if this was Chicago, if Aaron would have played for Chicago, he would have left before this year. He would have said, okay. He would have left right when Jordan Love got drafted. He would have shot his way out of town then, just because it's the Bears and that's what happens. But Green Bay, it was some stuff that came out that the GM, and it's always like, I don't know what it is with general managers or that job that makes you, just have brain farts when it comes to talented people on your team. I mean, if it's something to where, like, Aaron rubs him the wrong way or, he rubs Aaron the wrong way or vice versa, that's one thing. But, there's another thing about being a professional, Not everybody... Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan couldn't stand each other. Like, could not stand each other. And they won the Super Bowl because they put all that garbage to the side and they wanted to get something bigger than them. Green Bay, I mean, they draft Jordan Love, and I'm sure Jordan is like, man, like, yeah, so what about me? Can I get a trade? Because I want to play. And he might end up leaving. So maybe this works out as a Bears fan. Maybe this works out well for us. Maybe Aaron, starts to decline and Jordan gets angry. Aaron Rodgers retires. Jordan Love, leaves before Aaron retires. So that leaves Green Bay in a lurch. Again, that's something that would happen to the Bears. But yeah, I just don't understand the ego when it comes to GMs and just not, putting bullshit to the side and just saying, look, man, let's get together. Let's make this happen. Because it's not like, I understand being a GM, it kind of feels like middle management because you're, on one side you got the owner and then on the other side you got players and you got to kind of balance. And then, on top of that, you got to actually do the job of signing players, dealing with scouts, having them, draft the correct people, all of that good stuff. Hire coaches, hire the right coaches for the right talent that you have on your team. But I just can't see why. you just can't let that nonsense go, It came out that apparently, Aaron didn't like the way, who's this? Gutekunst, Brian Gutekunst, Gutekunst, whatever. Sorry, Brian. Apparently him and Aaron Rodgers got into it. The ego came out with Brian. He said something to the effect of like, he said something to the effect of, could you please not, make an issue out of this in the media? But he didn't say it as nicely as I just put it. Most likely he said it, I can't remember the words, but he said it like he was talking to a kid, like disrespectfully. And maybe Brian didn't know what he was doing as far as coming off as disrespectful. But Aaron Rodgers strikes me as a very sensitive person, a very spiteful person, also a very successful and driven and determined person. So when you factor all of these things in, you get Aaron Rodgers, first of all, looking like Reed Thompson from Snowfall. And then you get him angry. Like, it's just a time bomb. I really would have thought that they would have let Aaron Rodgers go. Actually, no. I was hoping they kind of like mess up and let him go just to see another organization in the NFC North mess something up besides the Chicago Bears. But having said all of that, I don't know why you would let him go, but, ego. And it's not... I don't even think Aaron was asking for the world as far as money is concerned. Because, look, the Green Bay Packers, they're an NFL franchise, and the NFL is making money hand over fist. I know they have a salary cap and all of that, but if, quarterback is lauded as the most important position in sports, if you have a Hall of Fame quarterback like Aaron Rodgers is, back the truck up, back the Brinks truck up, give him whatever he wants. Let him run the team if he wants. Because, I mean, at least, I'm not saying, he should be in on, the draft meetings, coaches hiring meetings or whatever. But when it comes to, offensive players that he may play with, or an offensive coach, or what kind of scheme he's going to end up running with the new coach. Let him get some input. There was supposedly friction between him and Matt LaFleur. I didn't really buy that because there's Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback. There's Matt LaFleur, the coach. And Matt LaFleur, he's like a young Sean McVay type, hey, let's throw the ball, let's score points. Like he's not somebody who Aaron wouldn't like as far as a coach. Like his philosophy, I think, meshes well with what Aaron wants to do on the football field. But I really think, like most situations, this is a front office issue. They pissed Aaron Rodgers off when they drafted Jordan Love. And then Aaron, he came out and he was like, yeah, I want to play for the Packers until I'm 40, but I'm paraphrasing that. But it doesn't seem like it's a reality now because, look what happened. They drafted a quarterback, so high in the draft. And again, I mean, that to me, that's just needless because it's not like basketball where you have a point guard and your point guard, you're like, look, man, get us like 15 to 16 points, 8 or 9 dimes, and we're good. You get point guards like that, and then you get like combo guards like Kyrie or Derrick Rose or something who could score 35, 40 points, get you 8 assists, and then the person who comes off the bench, is a drastic decline, but he's still a point guard. He can still run the show. Quarterback isn't really like that. Quarterback, first of all, you got 10 other dudes following you. So, if I don't know, it's one of those things where it's kind of like the military. Like morale has to be up. Guys have to want to fight for you and protect you. And I mean, you could be the biggest jerk in the world, but if you're good and you could get guys to follow you, then you could be successful in the NFL as a quarterback. And it's the flip side. If you could be the nicest guy in the world, and if you're absolute basura, nobody's going to follow you because you can't play well and they don't believe in you. Everybody on that team believes in Aaron Rodgers. So with him staying, I mean, it's just going to make them stronger. It's just going to galvanize them more, I'm sure. And they're going to be hellacious on the football field as usual. I don't know how good they're going to be on defense, but I mean, their defense was pretty good this year and they didn't lose in the playoffs because of their defense. So I just think that it's a situation where Aaron, he'll probably be there for, at least the next 4 years in the contract, however much money they give him. And then he'll probably part ways, and then he'll probably sign with some other team and probably get a ring there. And then, Green Bay, if they have Jordan Love, they'll let him play finally, or they'll, try to draft the next Aaron Rodgers or whatever. But again, as a Bears fan, salivating. If I could put the effects in right now of me salivating, I'm loving this because I want the Bears to be good. So the only way to be good is to play against good people. I mean, good teams. And Green Bay being good, and not even that, but Green Bay is the absolute blood rival of the Chicago Bears. So, it's important for us to I shouldn't say us. It's important for the Bears to exact revenge and see how good they are, and try to surpass the Green Bay Packers in the division. I wanted to see if there was anything else I missed as far as opinion-wise and what they were talking about. I mean, Aaron, he just came out and he was like, I want to be involved in the decisions that pretty much affect my ability to do my job, which is kind of like what Russell said. But, Russell, the GM didn't like that enough to say, hey, get out of here to Russell Wilson, and Aaron stays. Both have won one Super Bowl. Both are Hall of Fame players. I'm not going to speculate and get into, racial dynamics or anything like that because I don't think that's the case here. I think it's more so of an ego thing. Like it's the GM from Seattle, from the Seattle organization's ego against Russell, and it's Green Bay's GM's ego against Aaron Rodgers, and we all saw who won out. So I would just say, yeah, I'm getting a call right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this short, and I want to go ahead and let you guys know that we'll go ahead and probably be on tomorrow. This is your boy Jimmy Guapo from the Sophomore Show signing off. Peace.